This is the model that was left off at the end of session 5. Now, one of the things that I tried to do in that session was to use the pullback command to fix a couple of these extra points that we had just created in here. You can see it left a few dents in the hull, and I selected the items in the wrong order. That's why that command didn't work. So let me correct that here. And I'm going to turn on the surfaces, and we could either drop points on those 3. If you turn on the mesh points, these are the points that we want to move, but pullback and project commands don't allow you to do the operations on a control point. You have to have a physical point in there that you can project, a piece of geometry. So you can either drop, since there's only 3, we could just create a point on each one of those, or we can again use the extract points command under the curve menu, and it extracts points on the entire mesh. But then what we'd do is hold down the control key and unselect the 3 that we want to project, and then you can hit delete on the rest of them that were extracted. And that's a fairly common thing that I'll do, is when I need a set of points out of the mesh or from something else, I'll extract everything, deselect what I want to keep, and then hit delete, because when you do that extraction, everything is currently selected. So you can just unselect the ones that you want to keep and then delete everything else. A lot of times that can be a bit quicker than trying to add points, especially if you have a long row of points that you're interested in extracting. So now I have these 3 points, and the command that I tried to use in the last session was the pullback command. Project will take these points and project them forward onto a surface or mesh or some other geometry, and the pullback command will take those points and they'll be pulled back onto the surface normal. Well, it'll find the normal direction from the surface to that point and pull it back to that location. So we'll use pullback, and what I did the last time was I was trying to select the surface first. I should have been trying to select the geometry that we wanted to move. And I'm going to change this option. I guess previously the default was delete input no. It's now delete input yes, so I won't wind up with a second copy. It's going to delete these original locations and move them on to the new one. So I'll hit the right-hand button to accept that command, and then it asks me to select the surfaces. So I'll select the hull surface, and you can see those 3 points have just jumped. And now what I want to do is I'll turn on the control points for the mesh. And to make it a little easier to see, I'll switch over to wireframe and then move those 3 points. You can just drag them onto the new location on the surface of the hull. And if you hit escape, that'll turn off the control points. And I can grab those 3 points and delete them. But if we switch back to shaded view, and I'll turn off the surfaces here. So we're just looking at the mesh. You can see it's a good bit smoother. There are still some saddle-shaped quads in there, but with this compound curvature in here and a fairly coarse mesh, we're going to see some saddle-shaped quads. And we can clean up a few of those by merging 2 mesh faces to get rid of some of these tries. Now we want to keep the frames straight in here. So I just want to get rid of those 2, and I think there was one more up here that I'd get rid of. And then we're pretty much done with that upper deck.